welcome to VCode's 100 Days of Coding Challenge. Today is day 21 and let's see the question number 1. So the question is, write a Java function named calculate factorial that calculates and returns the factorial of a given integer n. The function should take an integer n as input and return an integer representing the factorial of n. So the function, the syntax should be int calculate factorial and int n, which is the parameter. So the input format is an integer n representing the number for which we need to calculate the factorial, and it should represent the number, the factorial of that number n. So if the sample input is 5, then the output must be 120. So we had already seen in the previous videos what is factorial of a number, how to find it logically. So we had used a for loop to find the factorial of a number. So let's revise it again. So the logic to find the factorial. So basically the factorial of a number is the product of all the numbers from 1 till the integer n. So if I take that n as 5, so what will be the 5 factorial? So this would be the product of all the numbers from 1 till the 5. So 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So the answer is 120. So this is the factorial. So we had found this using a for loop before. So we had iterated from 1 till the number n, and we had multiplied the number by increasing again and again, and we had finally got the output of 120. So we can do it in two ways. Either we can go from 1 till 5 or we can go from 5 till 1 for the iteration purpose. So this is for the for loop. So here what we are going to use is, we are going to use the functions. So we are not going to do this method again and again of multiplying the number, iteration, etc. But here we are going to use a concept called recursion. So here we are going to use the concept called recursion. So this recursion is a concept where we repeatedly do something, do a process, so as to get a desired output. So in this recursion we are going to define a function and we are going to call that function again and again. So what is this function as asked in the question? So functions are a piece of code which do a certain task. So here we are going to write a function called calculate factorial, and we are going to use that function repeatedly, which is called recursion. So let's see how to write the code for it. So I have already created the Java file. I have named it as factorial.java. So inside the main method, firstly let me declare the variable for which we need to find the factorial. So let me name it int n and let me define it as 5 for now, and we have to get the output for the factorial of that n, right? So I'll write a print statement, and in this print statement I am going to pass calculate factorial of this integer n. So here this is a method which I am calling, but there is no method written, right? So this is going to be a user defined method which we are going to write. So every method in Java, so actually functions and methods are same. In Java we call the function as method. So these functions have a return type. So the return type is something which the function returns us at the end. So the return type is a data type. So here it should be int, because the factorial of a number we are going to return it as an integer as given in the question. So what is the name of the function? It is calculate factorial, and the input format is an integer n. So I write int n. So this is the format or syntax you can say to write the function. So okay, so here I am going to define the final factorial. So let us not declare a variable. So what should we return here? So let me write return. So this is the syntax to return, and we are going to write the return, what we are going to return here. So, here I am going to write n minus 1. So, here I have written n into calculate factorial of n minus 1. So, what is this? So, here I have written n, so the number directly taken from here, and then I am going to multiply that with the calculate factorial of n minus 1. So, what I am doing here is, so let us take if the number given is 5. So, I am multiplying this n with the calculate factorial of 4. So, let me copy this. So, calculate factorial of 4. So, this calculate factorial of 4 is again called. So, this function is called again. So, here is the concept of recursion. So, now this function is called again. So, here what it will be? So, 4 into calculate factorial of 3. So, here it will be 4 into calculate factorial of 3. This function is again called for the value 3. So, the return will be 3 into calculate factorial of 2. So, here it would be 3 into calculate factorial of 2. So, this function is called again for the value of 2. So, the return value will be 2 into calculate factorial of 1, and for 1 the function is called again, and for the 1 it is 1 into calculate factorial of 0. So, what is the factorial of 0? It is 1. So, here we have not written any value for the when the integer value is 0. So, here I am going to write if n is equal to 0. So, what is the factorial of 0? It is 1. So, here I will written 1. So, then the value here will become 1. So, we have got the desired output. So, what is that? 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 into 0 factorial is anyways 1. So, we have got the product, right. So, here we had used the concept called the recursion, where we are calling the function again and again to make the process simpler. So, I am going to remove this, and okay. So, in methods, if we want to call the function directly, we need to name the function. So, here this static keyword must be present in front of the function. So, if a static keyword is not present, we have to use an object to call that function. So, that object is an instance of a class. So, we will see that in later videos, but this static keyword is important if we are calling the function directly without using any object. So, that is it. So, now let us run the code. So, I will open the terminal. So, let us now compile the file and check factorial.java and java factorial. So, the output is 120. You can check that. So, here we can also take the input from the user using the scanner class, which I haven't done. So, we can use anyway. So, that is it for this video. We have seen how to write a function for the factorial, and we had used a concept called recursion. So, do follow the 100 days of coding challenge by VCode. Thank you for watching.